Welcome to the Poisoner's Cabinet. I'm Sinead.
And I'm Nick.
And this is your weekly podcast exploring the lives of the great poisoners, macabre murders, and captivating crimes from across the centuries, and creating curious cocktails inspired by the tales that we tell. And it's episode 228. Marvellous. Ooh, how are you, Nick?
I'm tired.
Oh, you're tired.
It's been a long old week. Feels like it's been a long old week.
Yes, that end of November.
It's a speedy week, but a long week. Very odd. A bit strange.
Everyone is building towards the Christmas time.
Christmas.
I refuse to celebrate Christmas until...
Too early.
Until December.
No, I entirely agree.
There'll be none of that. I appreciate everyone sharing memes of no cheeses for us Mises, but that does not happen until the 1st of December. And obviously, it's not Christmas until Alan Rickman falls from the Atomic Plaza.
Yes,
you know,
indeed.
it's like, yeah.
Yes.
Until Die Hard happens. I mean, it's not Christmas.
Yes. Not only that, but Mariah Carey, she's already on the radio.
She is.
She's been released for the year.
I've not heard her yet.
Oh, I have.
I've not. I think we should change Whamageddon to her, because I've not heard her dulcet tones.
Many times.
But then you have the radio on in the office.
Isn't it true?
But anyway, in conclusion, Christmas is coming, people.
Christmas is coming, run away.
It can't be stopped. Any poisonings this week?
Christmas
poisonings.
Christmas poisonings.
You're building up.
Yes.
Getting all the mistletoe in.
Exactly.
Lovely.
Preparing my supplies.
What a lovely, lovely Christmas we have
Happy
in
Christmas,
store.
everyone. I'm going to kill you.
Well, speaking of being tired before Christmas but still stockpiling poisons just in case, I think it is time for us to thank our delicious Patreon subscribers.
Oh, we probably should. This week we must say thank you very much to Bri B, to Mythic Sandy. Really nice, Mythic, I like that very good indeed.
And to Kiki Embryonic.
Thank you very much, darlings.
Those are brilliant names this week.
Names.
Excellent names. They sound like DJs from the early 90s.
Yes.
That might have worked at Cyberdog.
Yes, yes, I see that. Yes.
Yeah, I like it. And also superheroes by night. Yeah, in some sort of steampunky kind of cyberpunk mashup.
They're busy people.
They're busy people. They're very busy people.
Working by day, superheroing by night. My God.
Our Patreons are multi-skilled.
When do they have time to rest and drink cocktails?
Indeed. We had fun on Patreon this week. We spoke of the famous story of Roberta Elder.
Yes, we did.
And the application of bananas and cheese.
Yes.
Which everyone is weighing in on.
Yeah, no.
No?
Some people have said yes.
But it's a nice creamy cheese.
I mean...
a sheepy cheese. A goaty cheese.
No, not a sheepy goaty cheese. No.
On a banana.
No.
No. Just no cheese with the banana.
What's that about? Okay, I'll give you a ricotta.
Okay, there we go. A ricotta with a banana.
In making like a cheesecake, you could do some banana-y thing going on there.
So there you go, maybe it was that.
But not like a lump of Stilton.
What if it's the greatest combination? To the cheese shop, Nick.
No.
We must experiment.
No, I'm sorry, there are limits to my experimentation. I must draw the line somewhere.
Indeed. Well, if you want to know what the hell we're talking about, please do consider joining us on patreon.com/The Poisoner's Cabinet, where you can support the show, and for that you get extra episodes every single week, new tales, new crimes, as well as lots of bonus content. We have a higher tier where you get to hear our behind-the-scenes chattery from every week, from before we record the episodes. Sometimes it's racy, sometimes it's crazy. There's a lot of kitchen talk.
Kitchen chat with Sinead and Nick.
Yes, kitchen chat with basically, what's your favourite kitchen appliance? That's the kind of content you could be getting, people.
Exactly, yeah. That's on the Uber to you.
Yeah.
That's $100 a month, that one.
They get it on Cyanide Connoisseurs, but, Uber tier is that we'll pick out stuff for you. We'll design your kitchen.
Or perhaps we should make an Uber tier, and then we can buy fancy KitchenAids.
To give out, that everyone who joins gets a KitchenAid.
No, for our own use. And then we will review them and go, oh, KitchenAid.
For people who have a KitchenAid fetish.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, this is something we've not tapped into, and I think it's a foolproof business plan.
I think we're missing a trick.
Yes. But aside from all of that, there's normal levels. Please do consider joining us on Patreon. It's a great way to support the show. It helps us continue to do what we do, and it's also coming up to Christmas time, so they also make great gifts, Patreon subscriptions. You can buy annual subscriptions. You get a discount when you pay for your subscription annually. If you know someone who loves the Poisoner's Cabinet
and
just as much as you. Yeah. Or someone that you need to inflict this on. Someone
who hates it, but you don't like them very much.
Just slide that across the table and go, ha ha ha, bitch. Also a note to our regular listeners, you may hear more adverts during our episodes. We try to place these in the most opportune spots because, again, all revenue helps us. However, if you prefer your podcast advert-free, you can join us on Patreon and you can listen to all episodes without adverts, absolutely pure as the driven snow. Well, Nick, are you ready?
No.
We could drink cocktails and talk about poison.
Okay.
Or we could just say fuck it.
Can we do that? For once.
And drink poison.
Yes. Let's just do that.
And talk about cocktails.
It just seems like a much easier option today.
It's like our brains have been replaced with treacle.
It really
Bad
is
treacle.
that.
Not good treacle.
Not golden syrup.
No,
that's lovely. It's proper molasses treacle.
Thick. Dark. It ruins your cupboards.
It's bitter.
Yeah, and it's topped with bananas and cheese. Yeah. It's a horrible combination.
It's a horrible thing, and it's in my brain.
But maybe a cocktail could save us.
I don't know, I'm already on my second, it's not helping.
Well, let's go with the first one. Third time's the charm. Hooray, hooray, hooray. It is Nick's story this week, and we can't possibly have a story without a cocktail in hand. As you know, dear listeners, every week we choose a secret ingredient that is inspired by the tale that we tell, and it will flavour our cocktail of the week. Nick, your story.
Yes.
Your pick.
Yes.
So the secret ingredient is...
Rather unusual this week.
It is a bit.
It's a bit... We've gone for a sombrero.
Woohoo! I like it. I like it. A sombrero. So,
sombrero.
Well, are we going to Mexico?
Well, we'll find out.
Or to another place that has sombreros?
Yes.
Lovely, a sombrero. Okay, so many possibilities.
So many possibilities.
Well, with that, adorned atop your head.
Yes.
And we haven't had a hat in a while, actually.
This is true.
Nick's
we haven't.
hats. Yeah.
No, that's very true. I don't have a sombrero. I did once have a sombrero.
Why did you have a sombrero?
I don't know. I had one when I was a kid.
Oh, as a kid?
Yes.
Not as a teenager?
Not as a grown up.
Yeah, someone always has one though when you're a grown up because you're on a stag do or a hen do.
Yes.
And you're like, hey, this is hilarious.
Yeah, no, I can't remember where. I went somewhere as a child.
Were you sent somewhere?
Possibly in Mexico. I don't know. I have to ask the father.
You won't stop wearing the sombrero. and it was to this. What's this place? Psychiatrist.
Yes, and I had a sombrero, and I'm not quite sure why or how or where it went.
Was it your emotional support sombrero?
Potentially, yes. Potentially.
You clung
and then
to
it got taken away.
Oh, it turned into a sad story.
Yeah, I know,
oh, God.
Which is how I ended up like I am now.
All right, so we need to put a picture out, find Nick's sombrero, reunite them.
It was red.
Red. Oh, God, you really are attached to this sombrero, mate.
And I literally had never thought about it until now.
Now you're going to start crying.
Now it's like all I care about.
Did it have a name?
No.
Oh, you didn't name your hat?
No.
Oh.
Who names their hats?
I did. I named everything when I was a kid. I named a pair of secateurs once. I called them Snippy.
You're a loon.
Yeah. So, with sombrero as your ingredient, what have you come up with?
Well, I mean, where do you think, or traditionally, when you think sombrero?
I do think Mexico.
We do. One does think Mexico. And what else does one think when they think of Mexico?
The lovely, lovely temples.
Lovely temples?
Yeah.
Yes,
I do. Okay. You know what I do? Guacamole.
Guacamole as well.
Guacamole.
Excellent.
Mole.
Mole.
I know you're shoving me in a direction.
I am. And you're not going there. Rude.
Tequila.
Do you?
I do.
Do you?
I do.
Anyway, we're having none of that.
Oh, okay.
We're having When the Smoke Cleared.
When the smoke cleared. Ooh. Right. Oh, I think I can guess what's in it now. Either that, I was like, that's shit. What has that got to do with who's burning sombreros? Okay, when the smoke clears.
Bonfire of sombreros.
That's really disturbing. What happened here?
Terrible thing.
Terrible.
We'll find out when the smoke clears.
I think it is high time for us to sashay into the Poisonous Cabinet kitchen and shake up a storm, so we'll see you in a minute.
We'll see you in a bit.
And we're back.
Hello.
So, Nick.
Yes.
When the smoke clears.
Is there
a cocktail?
Apparently so.
Woohoo! It is in a tumbler with ice. Nice. Yes. Orangey?
An orangey hue.
Orangey hue. Very nice. There's some shaking going on, I heard.
There was some shaking.
What secrets could there be? Let's have a go. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry nearly Christmas. Okay. Mm-hmm. So smoky.
Oh, that's nice.
Mezcal?
There's mezcal.
Mezcal, definitely. Yes. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice and citrusy.
I like that.
Yeah, nice and sharp. Oh, good. That'll wake us up. Yes. Okay. So what else? Orange? Is there orange juice in this?
No.
Okay. Citrus. Lemon?
No.
Lime?
Yes.
Lime.
Lime.
Is there any other kind of juice in here?
Yes.
Grapefruit?
Nope.
Okay. Orange?
Nope.
Grapefruit?
Nope.
No. What other juices are there? Cranberry. No, it's not red. Apple.
No.
Pear.
No.
Mango.
No.
Oh, God. Am I missing something really obvious?
Yes.
Oh. Orange, grapefruit, lemon, lime, You keep nodding like...
And next.
Oh, God, why don't I know any fruits? Why? Why is this my downfall?
Why does this happen every week?
Every time with the fruits, I don't know any of the fruits.
Next time I'm going to make you a list.
I know,
and
please do, and I need to study. Why don't I remember any fruits when these happen? So everyone's screaming now. It's not banana.
It's not banana.
It's not banana juice. You have not juiced banana.
No,
Guava. Apricot.
No.
What is it?
Pineapple.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Why every time with a pineapple? Right, pineapple, mezcal. Another alcohol?
Yes.
Oh, is it a fancy spirit?
Yeah, ish.
Benedictine?
No.
It's not a chartreuse, is it?
No. Think bitterer.
Campari?
Rather than sweeter. It's very close.
Campari. So, Aperol? Aperol. Okay. Oh, God, I wouldn't have known. What else? How many more? Sugar?
Not sugar, but something similar.
Oh, cachaça or something?
No.
Or agave?
No.
Honey?
No.
I don't know. Guessing is not...
Ginger.
Oh, ginger.
Ginger.
Ginger
Syrup.
Ginger syrup. Why don't I get any of this?
Mezcal, Aperol, pineapple, lime, ginger.
It feels like a medicinal thing, actually.
Well,
if you have a cold, that would do. Do you like it?
I like it, yeah. No, I'm enjoying that one. I like this one.
I like it. It's nice and sharp. It's got lots of flavour to it.
Yeah, I'm pleased with that.
I'd drink that. It actually tastes more like a smoky juice. That's dangerous, I think,
yes.
for that reason.
Hurrah!
When the smoke clears, there's drinks.
There's drinks. There's always drinks.
Making our way through the smoke, drink in hand, is it time for a story, Nick?
It is time for a story.
Hooray!
So, this week's patron, as we have mentioned, you have inspired me. I was inspired to take a further look at a particular legend.
Yay.
This week's on Patreon, we referenced Bluebeard. The Legend of Bluebeard.
We did.
With a Mrs. Bluebeard.
Roberta Elder.
Yes. I mean, it's a term we have used multiple times before. The sort of Bluebeard. It's cropped up. It's cropped up quite a lot of times. And it does get applied to sort of many of the sort of the ne'er-do-wells that we have dealt with. So, yeah, we've talked about Mrs. Bluebeard and the Bluebeard of this and the Bluebeard of that and this place and that place and what have you.
Well, yeah, anyone who sort of was seeking love but actually seeking murder.
Yes, but I must admit, when we first came about, I never really knew the reference.
Did you not?
I was not familiar with the reference at all. I just kept on thinking pirate. Was pirate? There's no Bluebeard pirate.
No.
I just kept on thinking pirate.
No, that's Blackbeard.
That's Blackbeard. And I thought, was there a Bluebeard as well that I'm just not familiar with? So I never really knew the reference. So I thought if I didn't, then perhaps some other people didn't either.
I know the story of Bluebeard very well. I know it's an old tale, and I will recommend. I'll put in a little plug here for Dragonfly Tales by my sister, who's a storyteller. She does a blinding version of Bluebeard.
Well, it's not going to anywhere near as good as the one I'm doing.
Yeah, I set that up badly, didn't I? I was like, my God, it's a symphony of... It's just the imagery and the voices she conjures up. So go ahead, Nick. Go on.
It's not going to be anything compared to the monotone droll of me doing a fairy tale. Bluebeard, I mean, it first makes appearance in 1697. So in a collection of folktales written by a French chap called Charles Perrault. Ooh. So I hope you're sitting comfortably.
Okay.
Because I'm going to tell you a story.
Yay, do we get a story? Actual story time.
An actual story.
Well, I have my traditional children's story time drink of mezcal and ginger and lime and other boozes.
That's what all children should be having at story time.
Woohoo.
Marvellous. Once upon a time.
You're actually doing this. Nice.
Once upon a time, there was a very wealthy man who owned a grand estate.
He did.
His home was filled with the finest riches, and he himself was a great specimen of a man. Great specimen indeed. But the man was cursed. He was cursed with a blue beard that made his visage so terrible that there was not a woman or girl upon seeing him who would not flee and run a mile.
This bit I have not heard.
Have you not heard this? I'm not sure. This particular translation, I'm reading a translation of the story.
Of the original story.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've not made it up. I'm reading a thing that I found.
Are you reading something on Reddit? Okay.
I'm reading a version of there are multiple versions of the story. It gets translated in multiple ways. This is a one I have found. I'm reading this one. So it may be different to the one you know. So he
has a blue beard.
He has a blue beard, and everyone goes, "My fucking hell, you got a blue beard!" That wasn't in the original. That bit I added that in.
Whereas today, goths would be like, "Oh my God,
you look so cool."
So cool.
But at the time, no one wants a man with a blue beard, and the women would run a mile for the horror of his looks. for this Bluebeard.
It's not quite got the same ring as, Victor Hugo and like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
No, there's no No, apparently he's a great specimen of a man.
Yeah, he's very rich.
Apart from a blue beard.
How blue is it?
And that's the thing that everyone is horrified by. So I'm thinking, get your priorities straight, people.
I can look past them. Also, there are razors.
Yeah, indeed.
Right.
But yes, apparently, there we go. So he's cursed with this blue beard. One of his neighbours on his grand estate was a widowed lady, and she had 2 beautiful daughters. Now, Bluebeard, he goes, as he is known locally, unsurprisingly, he goes to the widow and asks for the hand of one of her daughters in marriage. He's not seemingly that bothered about which one.
No, and he's cast aside the widow as well.
Oh, yeah.
She's like,
my time. She's old. She's old and crony.
I looked past your old crony looks to your 2 daughters.
To your 2 lovely daughters. And yeah, he says, I don't mind which one. You choose.
Oh, Jesus.
You choose which one gets to marry me and live in my big blue beard.
Stroking the whole time.
Yeah. Now, neither of the girls, the young women, they want to marry Bluebeard. Absolutely not. And they're both going, you. No one wants to do it. One of the reasons behind this is there are many legends, many rumours have grown up around this grand estate. Yeah. And one of the things that frightens these young ladies is that he's been married before. Mm-hmm. He's been married before 7 times. And no one knows what's happened to his previous wives. And they're going, well, I don't want to be number 8. But the widow's going, oh, it's a big old dowry.
Yes, a big dowry.
Big old dowry, big old estate. So come on, off you go.
That's the thing. That's always the discrepancy there with this version, is that he's been married 7 times. No one's investigated.
No. Well, he's a big man with a fancy estate. He's rich. He's wealthy.
And also, everyone's going around, oh yeah, Bluebeard, ha ha ha. But he's been married 7 times.
Yeah.
It's more than you peasant.
Well, this is very true. This is very true.
So certain people looked past that.
Yeah. So, but obviously, he is aware that there is some reluctance upon these young ladies' behalf. So to sway them, Bluebeard invites the family to his country estate. Come and live with me so they can get to know me. You can get to love me for the lovely Bluebeardy man I am.
Nice.
And they remain in his home for a week. A week and a day, I beg pardon.
That is the actual optimum time to get to know someone.
A week and a day,
completely.
you know someone intimately by then. And everyone who spends the day has the most fantastic time. The days are spent in the most enjoyable of pastimes. Finally, Fatima, the younger of the 2 daughters, and some say the more beautiful of the 2 daughters,
obviously,
begins to find that Bluebeard is not quite so terrifying as they had originally thought. Once you get past the beard...
Once you get past the terrible dye job.
Once you get past the horrifying beard, he's actually not that bad.
He's not that bad. I saw past his beard to his piles of cash. I found love. Good for Fatima.
So quickly, the 2 of them are wed. Mm-hmm. Now, she moves into the lovely estate. She's having a grand old time. And soon, Bluebeard tells his young wife that he has to go away on an important business trip. He has to go away. And he suggests that she leaves the city and return to the country estate. You can spend some time with your sister.
So they're in the city.
They're in the city. Yes, they're in his city home. He's got an apartment in the city as well. Or
they just stayed in the country estate and then he fucked off. That's the other version.
Well, I'm not telling that version. I'm telling this version.
But you just transported them to the city for no reason.
They went to the city. They had a lovely time. They were on honeymoon in the city. Okay.
They honeymooned.
They honeymooned in the city.
You just added an extra detail.
Well, apparently I have to explain every fucking line. You won't just accept that now they're in the city.
Okay. But now she's going back to the country estate.
Because her husband is leaving on important business, she's going, go and spend some time with your family. Go to the estate. Mm-hmm. Have a lovely time. It's big. It's fancy. It's very comfortable.
Fancy.
Get your sister over.
Ooh.
And have a nice time.
Right.
With your sister. Indeed. And he says here are the keys to the estate. Ooh. And he goes through them all. This is the key to the safe. This is where the key to my gold. This is the key to my jewels. He literally goes through every single key.
He does.
This is a key that opens every room in the estate.
This is the key to the KitchenAid mixer. This is the key to the Le Creuset cupboard.
Don't touch that one. But this small key, he says, this tiny wee key at the end, he says, and his face suddenly turns stern and angry.
Dark.
This is the key to the closet at the end of the basement, he says. Open any room you wish, but do not venture into the basement and unlock that closet.
Lovely. Specific
And
instructions.
then the husband drew his wife near to him so she could feel the bristles of his blue beard. If you should ever open it, he says, you shall feel my wrath. Fatima promises, obviously, to obey this simple wish. She is the wife, she will obey. Absolutely, I won't open that cupboard. They embrace, and Bluebeard leaves for his business. The dust from his carriage wheels are barely settled when, with the curiosity that comes with youth, Fatima takes this tiny wee key and rushes to the basement, determined to find what lay behind the closet door.
Oh, nice. In this version, no fucking about.
No fucking about. No, he's barely down the driveway, and she's down in that basement.
In other versions, she wanders through the house and then suddenly curiosity gets the better of her. She's just. But to be fair, he has specifically said this door down this corridor, turn left, go down here, and then you go down some steps. That one, don't ever open.
Oh yeah, I read some other versions, and she has a few parties. She has friends around.
Yeah.
And all this. No, this one, he's barely left, and she's down those stairs.
Woo!
So she is seized with curiosity, and she reaches the basement, and she crosses to the imposing door. It is as thick as a tree trunk, this door, and it is sturdy as a bull, it is said. Now Fatima stands there in front of this door for some time, thinking about the words her husband had left her. But Fatima is far too curious. She must know what's going on, and the temptation fills her head is stronger even than her fear of her blue-bearded husband. She takes the small key, and with a trembling hand, she opens the door. Now, at first, she can't see anything. The room is too dark. But soon her eyes begin to adjust to the dim light, and she's able to see the contents of this terrible, terrible place. The room is like an abattoir. The floor is awash with curdled blood, and in the blood lay the bodies of 7 wives of Bluebeard. Their throats had been cut from ear to ear. Now, stunned she was. Fatima, she drops the keys into the blood on the floor. She regains her senses. She picks up the key and quickly leaves the room, fleeing as though Bluebeard himself is in pursuit. Fatima, when she stops, sees that the key is stained with blood, and she tries to clean it. But the key was a magic key.
It was a magic
Always
key.
a magic key, and it would not be cleansed.
No, the pouring blood.
No matter how hard she wiped, the blood did not go away. She washed it in bleach, but the stains would not fade. She scrubbed it with the toughest brush from the kitchen.
Bleach? What?
Bleach.
Sorry,
She's there with bleach.
Domestos?
Yeah, but no.
In the 1600s.
You had bleach and then?
You sort of had a vague approximation of it.
Not domestos. You
No,
had
you had bicarb and something vinegar.
Yeah, bleach is a chemical. You had bleach.
They didn't call it that.
No, and also it's in French. They didn't call it any of this. You want to get picky about it? Also, it's a fucking fairy tale.
Sorry, I am nitpicking at the bleach. So she was there with Domestos. There it was.
She's there with the toilet duck. It wouldn't come off.
Mr. Muscle didn't shift it.
She scrubs it with the roughest brush from the kitchen, but still the blemish remains on the key. Even sandstone would not remove this horrible taint. As the fates would have it, Bluebeard returns from his voyage that very evening. He has received news on the trip that his business affairs have been resolved in his favour, and he does not need to go away. With great joy he returns to his beautiful wife. Fatima was pale with fear as Bluebeard entered their rooms, and she shivered as he took her hands. "Why do you tremble at my touch, madame?" Madame, the treacherous husband asks. "My lord, it is not fear but gladness," Fatima replies. "I have missed you so that my heart was filled with the cold of longing." He's been gone about 12 hours by this point. "But now that you are returned to me, I quiver with joy."
That's a good fake.
Yeah.
I'm quivering with joy.
Quivering with
You're
joy.
shaking an awful lot and pissing yourself.
"Yes, I see," said murderous Bluebeard. "Have you my keys?"
My keys.
"Why, yes, husband," says Fatima.
Very good voice, Fatima.
That's Fatima's voice, yes. "I'm going down to warm..." No, that's Bluebeard. Oh, shit. Got my wrong voice. "I'm going downstairs to warm myself by the fire. Bring them to me there," says Bluebeard.
Oh, that was chilling.
See? I'm an actor. And he leaves poor Fatima alone in her chamber. Now, in her desperation, she hid the magic key among her clothes and went to return the others to her husband. "Tell me, my beloved, why is the key to the basement cabinet not with the others?" he asks. My lord, it must be there, poor Fatima.
Fatima.
Poor Fatima avowed, knowing her words to be false. Wife, it is not here. Fetch it for me now. Bluebeard's voice rose in anger. Fatima left the hall and returned to her chambers, taking the key from whence she had hidden it. Why, he asked in a voice that chilled her to her bones, why is there blood on this key? I do not know anything on it, cried the girl, paler than death.
that was like... Fair, you would be doing that.
You don't know anything of it, Bluebeard roared, taking his wife by the wrist. But I know it well. You wanted to enter the cabinet. Well then, madame, you will enter there and take your place with the ladies that you saw. Fatima threw herself at the feet of the perfidious Bluebeard and cried out for forgiveness. Her pleas should have softened a rock, but Bluebeard had a heart harder than stone. Give me a little time to make peace with God, since it is necessary that I die, she begged. I give you a quarter of an hour, no more, he said, leaving her in her chamber. Fatima called to her sister Anne, who apparently has been in the house all along.
Oh, so she's there.
So apparently Anne's just bumbling around the place.
Oh, in this version, she's just there.
Yeah.
She's been watching all of this from a corner.
She's been watching from a corner, or she's been having a nap or something.
Walked in with, like, I brought checkers.
Yeah.
It seems like I wandered into
I made a
something.
cake.
There was a lot of blood in that chamber downstairs.
I got a mop. She called to her sister Anne, I pray you go to the top of the tower to see whether our brothers come. They promised to visit me, and if you see them, make signs to them to hasten, said poor Fatima. Soon Bluebeard called her to come down and accept her fate. Anne, my sister, don't you see anything coming? Fatima pleaded to her sister. I see, answered Anne. 2 riders are coming this way, but they are still far, far away. God be praised, wept Fatima. They are my brothers. Tell them to hasten. Now Bluebeard cried out in a voice loud enough to shake the entire house, and Fatima was left with no other course but to go down. Outside the house, Fatima again threw herself to the ground. That does not serve you well, woman, growled the man as he pulled her up by her hair. It is necessary that you die. His hand came down to slice, but before the blade touched her alabaster throat, the gate to the chateau opened. Bluebeard saw 2 riders approaching with swords in hand. The coward recognized them as his wife's brothers, and he dropped his wife and fled for his life. But the brothers continued to chase him, and upon catching him, ran him through with their swords and left him for dead. When they returned to their sister, she was near death. But with the help of their sister Anne, they revived fair Fatima. It turned out that Bluebeard had no heirs, so his fortune was left to Fatima. She used some of it to make a dowry for her sister Anne, who married a man she had loved for a long time. Fatima used another part to reward her brothers, and the rest she kept for herself. Fatima later married a strong, good man, and in time they filled the estate with children. The fiend Bluebeard was soon forgotten, and they all lived happily ever after.
Da, da, da.
Lovely story
What
of
a
murderous husbands and
Lovely
terrifying
story.
closets.
Terrifying cabinets.
Cabinets.
Poisonous cabinets.
Yes. What do you keep in yours? My 7 wives.
My 7 wives. Ooh. No, so I'd not heard the original version.
I think this is probably translation over many, many years, so I'm sure
Yes.
not the original.
So there's all sorts of versions, because Bluebeard is thought to be based on Beauty and the Beast, and then that's Cupid and Psyche.
Yes.
So that's more romanticised, but then Bluebeard, not heard the version of him, was like, I got a blue beard, that's a problem. It was that his beard was so dark that it glittered like sapphires, almost. It was so dark that it was like a gem, and they said
So
it was
that's the big
Bluebeard.
fancy about it.
It was very fancy, but then they turn him into a sexy kind of creature,
Yeah.
and like he's really attractive. The girl that he marries is completely smitten, and then she finds the women hanging from hooks, like the abattoir.
See, this one, they're just lying on the ground in pools of gore.
And in the end, he there's all sorts of versions. Like he goes out and he fights the brothers, but he always dies.
I mean, another version, one's a musketeer and one's a dragoon or something like that, and yes, they fight, and but indeed, he always dies at the end.
He always does, but the magic key that spews blood, it has a blood stain on it, was just pissing blood the whole time in some. It's just like, oh, okay, we're covered in stuff.
It's been like that all along. But there we go. So that is the story of Bluebeard. Some people think based on Charles de Rais.
So Charles de Rais, which is erroneous though, isn't it? Because people
he wasn't a nice man.
But he wasn't Bluebeard. He was he was
he killed many other people though.
Soldier at arms alongside Joan of Arc. Killed lots of people.
Yes.
he was a child murderer.
He was, and he was. Yes, he did like his occultism as well.
He did.
So yes, he killed many children in trying to summon spirits and stuff like that.
And he did much worse.
And a good thing, he loved the theatre as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Right.
and there's a great story that because stupidly rich, obviously, and he wants to put on this performance, and there were 1,000 actors.
Yeah.
In this show.
Okay.
That he put on for like all the nobles and lordly people who are in the area and stuff like that.
Nice.
And all of them had new costume made every day. They had all of them had fresh costumes made every day. And it was on for like 6 weeks, type thing. And there was a full feast and buffet for just like suit 5,000 people was prepared every night just in case 5,000 people came. And if it didn't, the rest of it just went in the bin. In the end, his family sort of tried to sort of shut him away because he was just spending all the money they had.
Bit of a loon
He
that.
did unpleasant things.
He did terrible, terrible things. And again, I looked this up recently. Like, I don't know why Bluebeard comes from him. It was just like a monstrous person who was a rich man.
Yeah, he's just a rich, monstrous character.
He didn't marry and then kill his wives.
He didn't kill his wives.
He killed children,
He killed
unfortunately.
kids, yeah.
But then there's others who've had the name Bluebeard laying at their door.
Oh, well, indeed. And so we might just look at one of those now.
Let's do that.
I think we probably should. We need natural murder. Before we get on to that,
Yes.
let's have a wee break.
Let's do that.
And we'll come back with a tale of real murders.
Nick, we have our drinks.
Yes.
I made another one of those.
You did?
It was tasty and it's refreshing. Refreshing. And I'm so happy for more stories.
Excellent.
I've had a lovely fairy tale.
After my masterclass in storytelling.
Absolutely. Bluebeard is a great story.
Good story.
Great story. I will say at the end some resources where you can look at more stories of Bluebeard as well, because it's a story I absolutely love. But what are you leading to, Nick?
Yes, so we couldn't just end it there, really, could we?
Well,
so
no, because that would be just lies.
Yes, so we've got to have a good old actual murder.
Yes.
So we're going to take a look at a Frenchman.
A Frenchman?
Henri Landru, who was convicted for the murder of 10 women in France in the early 20th century and became known as the Bluebeard of Gambais. Now, Henri, I'm French, he was born in Paris in 1869. He's a pretty average working class sort of family. His father is a stoker at an ironworks, shovels coal all day.
Right.
And his mother is a laundress.
Okay.
Entirely respectable, salt of the earth type folk. Yeah, he gets a good education, really. So he does well at school.
Oh, that's good.
And when he is 18, in 1887, he meets his future wife in church. He was quite a religious chap, and he's apprentice deacon at his church. And there he meets his future wife, Marie Catherine.
So they're not Catholic, I'm assuming.
No, they are.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Is he going to marry her? Oh, he's not trying to be a priest.
No. He's a deacon. So he's more administrative than
Right.
clerical.
Right.
So he's there lighting the candles, buying new candles.
It's a lot of candle.
A lot of candle-based action.
Right.
Apart from when he spies the lovely Marie Catherine across the aisle, across the vestibule.
You're getting very French with all of this.
Vestibule. So the couple fall hopelessly in love, and they have their first child in 1891. Marie Catherine is already pregnant with their second child when they get married.
Scandal.
Indeed, in the autumn of 1893. Henri is in Paris on leave from his compulsory military service.
Yes.
So yeah, at the time, every Frenchman had to do 3 years military service. He comes back, he marries Catherine. They go on to have another 2 children eventually. So in total, they actually have 4 children together. And he does very well in the military. For the limited time he's there, he does very well. And he rises from private when he enters. And he's deputy quartermaster. When he leaves. So again, very administrative, counting pencils, counting candles, all that sort of thing.
It's not the Marvel version where it's like, quartermaster, I'm going to hit you with sticks.
No.
I'm going to hit you with invoices.
Exactly, yes. It's more that, no more candles for you. You've had too many candles.
This guy's weirdly obsessed with candles.
He loves his fucking candles. So when he leaves the army, he returns to his wife in Paris, but he drifts from job to job to job. He's really unable to stick at anything in particular. In 1898, he decides, I'm going to be an inventor. I'm going to invent stuff.
Okay.
And he designs a sort of primitive motorbike.
Does he?
He does. He designs this motorbike, which he calls the Landru, names after himself, and it proves to be sort of a surprisingly popular idea, and he persuades several investors to get behind him in order to build a factory and get machinery to be able to put this thing into production.
I'm hoping he used an actual bicycle as his model rather than just, I have got 2 oranges.
No, I think he used the oranges because I mean, actually building a factory and getting machines, I mean, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
It seems like an awful lot of work when I've already got your money. You've already given me your cash to do this, so I might just take your cash. So he decides, pocket the money and skip town. That's just far easier, really, than actually having to work for this. Where's the fun in that?
I just realised this is going to take a lot of effort.
Exactly, it's like an awful lot of effort. What a stupid idea.
I had one prototype.
And it was on a drawing. It was on so I do this. How do I make it? I don't know.
Yes, imagination.
Yes, indeed. So he is on the run for over a year. And during that time, he comes up with various grand schemes about how he's going to support himself. One of them is a new railway line he's going to build. He's going to build a new railway line outside Paris, and he tries to get investors for that. Another one is he starts designing toys for children, so little clockwork cars and automobiles and things for kids.
Oh, okay, maybe that explains the motorbike.
So he's got a good sort of technical mind. He likes the ideas, but actually making the prototypes and coming up with how am I going to make this and put it in production and blah blah blah. No, I'd rather just take the money and fuck off somewhere.
Okay.
So he does this an awful lot, skipping out on business deals, just running off with the cash. He's finally caught in 1904 in Paris when he literally trips up running out of a bank he's trying to defraud. So, allowing the chasing guards to catch up with him.
Or pile on top of him.
He goes to trial for these various frauds that he has committed. Now, while he's awaiting trial, he is examined by one of France's leading criminal psychologists. He comes in and conducts quite intensive interviews, Dr. Charles Vallon. Charles Vallon, after his, exhaustive research, concludes that Henri is on the frontiers of madness.
Ooh.
Not quite insane just yet, but he's so close.
He's so
close. He's so close to being crazy.
Ooh, but that's the sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah. So he's just like, try a little bit harder, and you can be completely mad.
But that is, the frontiers of madness is a description you'd give to an artist.
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone of genius, of great capability, but still great culpability too.
Yeah, indeed. So I think they're trying to say, well, there's no way he can use an insanity plea in his defence or anything, because he's not quite mad. He's close, but he's not there.
He's very close.
He's very close, and he gets there, believe me, but not just yet. So he is sent to prison for 2 years. As soon as he's released, he obviously goes straight back to his old ways. He has learned nothing during his time inside, and he spends the next 10 years sort of in and out of prison, really, for various fraudulent things and conning people out of money. Meanwhile, I mean, his long-suffering wife, Marie Catherine, and the 4 children, they're still there. They're still married, and they're living in increasingly shitty apartments, trying to sort of eke an existence. They are mainly being supported by Henri's father now, who's giving them handouts to try and keep his wastrel of a son's family going.
It's miserable.
Not fun for them at all. And Henri's just running around the place trying to make a buck and having a jolly old time.
Yeah, having a lovely time.
In 1909, he attempts to swindle a rich old widow, Madame Isor. He poses as a wealthy businessman.
With a big blue beard.
With a big blue beard. And he persuades her to pretty much hand over all her savings as a dowry for a marriage. But then she hands over this thing. She signs the contract. Yes, I will give you this. I will give you this. I will give you this. And then Henri starts to go cold on the idea of marriage. So much so that Madame Isor, bless her, now takes him to court. For breach of promise.
Breach of promise.
And say, you promised to do this. We've signed a contract. You're going to marry me.
Which is bodes the way for a beautiful, lovely, romantic.
Exactly. What could possibly go wrong in the future of that relationship?
Also, you take someone to court to go, you broke your promise, money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is actually arrested as he is trying to cash in some of her investments.
Wow.
Yeah, so the police are at the bank as he's trying to get this money out of the old lady. He is sentenced to 3 years in jail for this particular fraud. On his release, he finds that his father has passed away while he's been inside. His mother had predeceased by quite some time, but his father had left over 12,000 francs, which is the equivalent of about $40,000 today. So a considerable sum of money,
not bad.
but had left it to his wife and the children. He was to get not a penny of this money. Mm-hmm. And Henri was, well, outraged, really, at what he perceived to be his father's betrayal. That money should have been his. He was the son. That money, that inheritance should have come to him. Why was he giving it to my wife? Who I've abandoned. Why possibly would he want to do that? So he steals the money and runs.
Oh, Jesus.
He steals the money from his family and again legs it.
He's a bit of a prick.
He's a bit of a prick.
He's
not
a massive bastard.
Yeah. He's not a nice chap. In the winter of 1913, he pulls off one of his most successful cons, really, of his career. He swindles more than a dozen people out of 35,000 francs, which is a huge quantity of money.
Massive.
This time it's to build an entirely fictitious car factory.
Oh,
so again,
God.
he's heavy on the engineering sort of side of things.
Yeah, probably dazzling them with that.
Yeah, dazzling with technical knowledge and brilliance. But yeah, got the money now, all in my suitcases, and again, he legs it. Mm-hmm. Now, these people who have put in all this money, they go to the police to tell them what's happened. He's tried in absentia for the crime, and obviously he's found guilty of this, and he is sentenced to 4 years hard labour and then exile from France.
But he's not there.
But he's not there. Exactly.
there.
That's great. If you can catch him.
Yeah. Well, we did the law. If he was here,
Yeah.
he would have bloody well felt it.
This is all great if you can find him.
Right.
And now he has now escaped to a small village just north of Paris, where in 1914 he puts an advertisement in the paper. Widower with 2 children, aged 43, comfortable income, serious and moving in good society, desires to meet widow with a view to matrimony.
Ooh.
In French accent. A very enticing offer.
Is it?
Well, indeed. I mean, generally...
Wanting to meet a widow.
He wants to meet a widow.
Wants to meet a widow.
And there are a lot of widows out there.
Yes, but
there are
that
a lot of
also
widows who are going, oh no, my life is over now.
Yeah,
and now they're seeing someone who...
bells.
Well, no, they're just like, oh, someone wants me. Hello.
Why,
I'm
bitch?
here. I'm
Why?
alone. Come and look after me. And one such woman was Jean Couchet. She is keen to reply. She's led a lonely life, really, since her husband died.
Famously.
She's got a teenage son, Andre, and they are barely keeping their head above water, really. Now there is a man who is looking for a widow, looking to take care of me. How could I resist such a thing?
Tantalising.
Indeed. So she replies and she agrees to meet with Henri. Henri is now calling himself Raymond Diard.
Very nice.
Using a different name. The relationship flourishes. The relationship goes incredibly well. It's not without his ups and downs, as relationships are. And after one particularly fretful falling out, Jean asks her family to accompany her to Raymond's home so they can reconcile. They can sort out this argument and, get back to how things were. That's what they want. They want to get married, live happily ever after. They arrive at Henri's home, but she's not there. He's not there. He's not home. Now, the family seem happily enough to let themselves in and wait for Henri to arrive. And while you're waiting, you might as well have a little bit of a snoop. Little bit of a snoop around. And while you're snooping around, you might as well read all the man's letters and find out everything you can about him.
Is she moving to that sort of tempo? I'm going to have a little bit of a snoop.
Well, I think she's much more, no, I'm waiting for my husband-to-be, but the family's got her brother-in-law there. And they're all like, we're going to find out everything we fucking can. They're like, jigging around the place. Going,
it's actually acceptable to look through someone's personal belongings if you're doing it in that kind of having a little snoop.
Yep.
It's like having a little snack. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. So they
obviously entirely agree with you. Absolutely, that's perfectly fine. They find drawers and drawers and chests full of letters from women pledging their undying love, arranging weddings, handing over pin numbers, all this sort of stuff. There are hundreds of these, and they're all written to a range of names. Now, Janine's family, they are outraged. They look what this man is doing, and they tell her, you must leave this man. He is obviously an absolute scoundrel. He is, stringing all these women along, including you. What are you playing out? But no, he loves me. He loves me. We're meant to be together, says Janine.
How many times have you met him?
And she says, no, these letters must be from before we were met. Before we met, these are all the responses he had, and he picked me out of all of these
babe.
replies.
Oh no, love.
So
no.
And she refuses to hear another word against him. So much so that the family go, for fuck's sake, you're an idiot, and leave.
Right.
And they go, you can't talk sense to you, woman. You're obviously
you're that in love, and you're that
Yeah.
love bombed. That's
So,
it. Yeah.
Henri, Raymond, Janine, and her son Andre moved to a new house in Verneuil, which is northwest of Paris.
Very nice.
And it's far away from her family. Far away from her family.
Cutting her off.
Neither Jean nor Andre are ever seen again.
No.
But don't worry, Henry's not lonely for long. Henry's okay.
We were all worried.
Yes, he's still married to Marie Catherine, but the new things are much more exciting.
Exactly.
New things are much more exciting.
What's a marriage going to do to get between us?
The next lady in his life is an Argentine lady, Madame Labourdelaine. Now, she is the widow of a hotelier. So got a bit of money behind her, got a bit of money, which is nice. Now, she has told friends that she's planning to marry a charming engineer. Charming engineer from Brazil, He's from Brazil. He's charming. He engineers things.
Really?
It's very exciting.
He engineers things and says speaks fluent Portuguese, does he?
But she's frustrated because of the red tape, him being Brazilian, her being Argentinian, living in France. A lot of red tape for the wedding.
Yes.
So, and he's going, well, we can't get married until I've got my ID sorted out and these documents. I've got to get some things from Brazil. So he's stringing it along quite a bit to say why they can't
it's quite
actually get married. But she's going, okay,
ploy.
it seems reasonable that yes, we've got to wait for all these particular things to line up. So fine.
Yeah.
So eventually the pair decide to dispense with the ceremony and just move in together. Let's just live in sin. We don't care.
Saucy.
Madame Labourdelaine is last seen in July 1915, entering Henri's home. Not long after, a man who the neighbours of Madame Labourdelaine would later identify as Henri is seen stripping her house, pretty much moving all the furniture out of her house and putting it into storage and saying, "Oh no, she's married. We're living together. She's coming over to my place." And he empties the place of everything, and she is never seen again.
Jesus, poor thing.
Bertha Ellon met Henri in the summer of 1915, again via a Lonely Hearts advertisement. This time he's a businessman in search of a wife to join him in the pretty colony of Tunisia.
It is a very nice place.
It's a lovely, lovely place. Come join me in Tunisia. I'm a very important businessman.
Actually, a colony?
I think it was at the time a French colony.
Was it?
Tunisia, yeah.
Oh, it was a French... Oh,
yes,
okay.
French colony at the time.
Oh, okay.
And she soon disappears. She's known Henri for only a month, and she's gone.
Oh, the horror.
In late 1915, Celestine Busson answers Henri's ad. Now, this time, Henri poses as Georges Frémet, and he proposes to Celestine within days of their meeting. Such is the power of the love between them. This is kept up for 2 years, with Henri using every excuse under the sun to keep delaying the wedding as to why they can't get married.
Yeah.
He's a busy man after it all. I mean, he's already married, he's now engaged, and he's got to meet Anna Colomb, André Babelet, and Louise Jean,
Jesus.
all of whom are never heard from again. It's a busy man. In September 1916, Henri meets Annette Pascal. She's a seamstress for a prison fashion house, so does quite well for herself.
Sorry, I've just been holding a breath, actually, for a long time about all the women there. Sorry, I just went...
Yes.
Oh, she's a seamstress.
She's a seamstress for a prison fashion house, and she has a particular love for big hats. She loves a big hat.
No, don't even.
She is known in the neighbourhood as Madame Sombrero.
Are you fucking kidding me that's
the
the
link, and it's a brilliant one.
We had Bluebeard.
Yeah,
the entire time.
Find me a cocktail called Bluebeard.
Just pick the words blue and beard.
No.
You've done that before.
Yes.
You could have done that.
I could have done.
Oh, please, Nick, present me with a cocktail with the name Sombrero in it.
Madame Sombrero, she's an excellent character. Sorry.
But wait, this entire thing is about Bluebeards.
Yes.
It's about Bluebeard.
And the cocktail is about her.
Remembering the victims, is that it?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Remembering the sombrero.
Remember, I will get off this stool and I will beat you later. Fine, sombrero.
Deal with it.
Fine.
Get
This
over
sombrero
it.
in this intrinsically French story.
It's a very, very key piece of the story.
Yeah, we could have just had a big old glass of wine.
Madame Sombrero.
Madame Sombrero. Well, you got that in there.
Exactly. And I'm pleased I did.
Well done.
Now, she had replied to Henri's ad, as she is apparently looking for a vieux monsieur.
Sorry, what now?
A vieux monsieur.
A vuke.
V-I-E-U-X. Vieux.
Oh,
vieux monsieur.
view? Something to do with eyes?
It is, in effect, a sugar daddy.
A sugar daddy?
Yes,
Really?
the French
Is that what that is?
for a sugar daddy. So that's what she. Yeah, I mean, she's
vieux monsieur.
she's about 40. So I think she's.
She's dead by now.
Yeah, so good luck. But yeah, that's what she's after.
Fuck off, actually. Sorry.
I mean, he's about the same age.
Good for her looking for a sugar
No,
daddy.
absolutely. I mean, that's what she's after. And yeah, in correspondence, her and Henri hit it off fantastically.
Show her the money.
Indeed.
Always see the money, ladies.
Yeah, but unfortunately, she is last seen entering Henri's house in 1918.
Oh, babe.
And she's never seen again. Now, Henri goes to great lengths to separate his victims, these missing women, from their families. But after discovered to be missing, after the people start questioning why they are missing, he is equally determined to assure the families that their loved ones are alive and well. They're absolutely fine. There's nothing to worry about at all.
Nothing.
Now, I mean, 2 years after Celestine Busson meets Henri, her son from her first marriage, who had been living with her sister Marie, her son passes away. And of course, the family want to get in touch to tell her, your son has died. So she should know this
She
thing.
should.
She should know
probably.
these things. But no one can find her. No one can track her down at all. Now, Marie remembers. She remembers actually meeting her beau, Georges Fremet. And she remembers Celestine speaking of plans to run away to Gambais with Monsieur Fremet. She writes to the mayor of Gambais, asking for help in locating either Celestine or George. Do you remember these people? Do they still live in the town? What's going on? The mayor replies that he doesn't know either of them. I have no knowledge of any one of those names.
Oh, dear.
But perhaps you should come up and meet the family of a Madame Colomb, who is also missing in Gambais. And it seems to be under very similar circumstances that this young lady has just vanished. So come and have a chat. Rather than go to the police,
Yeah,
or
I was
anything
gonna
like
say.
that, come and have a chat.
I was just like, could you come along and solve this
Yeah,
for
can you
us?
sort this problem out. There's
Because
a weird
we have
missing.
been in a pickle.
There's just loads of women going missing. Can you come and have a look?
We've been watching this from afar, sipping our coffee, going, damn, someone should do something about this.
Now, I mean, thankfully, Marie is quite a proactive, get up and go, sort of what the fuck's happened to my sister sort of woman, and she does.
As you would think people would be.
As one hope we would
Yes.
be, and she is quite determined to discover what has happened to the Celestine, and she goes to the police to tell her about suspicions. There's these women who've gone missing in Gambais. What's going on? There's this man who no one can track down, who is seducing all these ladies, and they're vanishing. Do something about it. And they go, well, we don't know who it is. What can we do? I mean, thankfully, she's able to provide quite a detailed description because she's met the man when he and her sister were sort of first stepping out. She had been introduced. So yeah, this is what he looks like. This is what he looks like. Go and find him. Find out what's happened to my sister.
Go.
Go. They do fuck all. They do absolutely nothing. And Marie herself, she begins sort of combing the streets of Paris. She knows.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she knows where they met years ago when he met with her sister. So she's sort of hanging around this area of Paris, hoping one day that she might just see him or see her sister
Yeah, it's a good
in the
idea-ish,
street.
yeah.
And she does. And she does. In 1919,
haunts.
this pays off, and she spots Georges Fremet coming out of a shop. She loses him in the crowd, but she knows he went into that shop, and she follows him into that shop and asks that last customer, what,
good for you.
George Fremet, do you know his address? And they go, his name's not George. What are you talking about? That's not George Fremet. That's a Monsieur Gillet. But here's his address. Here's his card.
Because people are just like, fuck it, take all the stuff you need.
He's left his card, his calling card at the shop to have some stuff delivered. Take his card. If you need to talk to him, go and that's where he lives.
Fair play.
So she goes, fantastic. Now Marie goes straight to the police.
Good for her.
This is the man. He's now using a different name. This is where he lives. The police do go, okay, fine, we'll go and have a look.
Oh, all right.
And they go to this address in the rue where this man who has got multiple names is living with his new mistress. They take Henri in for questioning. In the house, the police find multiple identifications under numerous different names. They've got, Monsieur Guillard, Georges Frommet, Mr. Dayard, who's another one, and Henri Landru. They've got all these names on various bits of paper and things in the flat, in this apartment. So the police are going, we know he's doing something, but we don't know really what. So, obviously this is all right, Dodge.
I mean, it's one of those things where over the centuries still, where people are going, look, there's something really fucking weird going on.
There's something
Please
weird
just
going
dig
on.
a little deeper.
Yeah, I mean, he refuses to confirm his name. He won't even say what his name is, admitting to be any of these particular sort of personalities. Yeah, he said, the police are at a bit of a loss. Well, we don't know what to charge him with, because he's obviously doing something weird with all these names, but we don't know what, and they have no idea what they've stumbled really into. The key, though, is a small notebook that they discover that Henri has kept on his person. In the back is a list of names, several of which are known missing persons names.
That's helpful.
Which they're able to identify. And as they go through this list of names, they discover other names on this list are also people who are missing, haven't been heard from for a long time. Oh, I thought they went to Australia. And they go, right, okay, something is definitely up. All these women on this list, no one knows where they are.
Yes.
They are all vanished.
In the pocket of one man, where all the women are going, this fucker's weird.
Now, Henri, he keeps silent throughout of all this. As the police conducted their investigation, and they're quite thorough now, they really are. They know they've got something that they need to sort out. They slowly learn that each of the women in these ledger had met Henri through his marriage advertisements. They find the correspondence that he's kept at his home. They know they've met, and then they have disappeared. The gardens in Gambais and Verneuil, his previous house, are dug up numerous times to try and find any evidence of anything going wrong. They find the skeletons of 2 dogs, and that's it. So nothing overly weird there. They sort of search all the local chemists and apothecaries. Can we track him down and pin him down to sales of acid and all this sort of stuff to say how he got rid of the bodies? But no, there's nothing there either. There's no luck. Finally, neighbours at his property in Gambais tell authorities of noxious fumes that have often emanated from the kitchen chimney.
Oh.
The stove is ripped out, and under the stove, in the ashes, they find small pieces of human bone.
Oh, God.
And along with that, there are scraps of burnt, but still recognisable women's clothing, buttons, fastenings, that sort of thing. We do not know how Henri killed these women, but they ended up in the oven. They ended up dismembered in the oven and
burnt to a crisp.
Burnt to a crisp, indeed. He was under arrest and an investigation for 2 years while they gathered all this evidence. And eventually, he is charged with 11 counts of murder and sent for trial. Wow. Now, this is for 10 women and 1 man, Andre, the son, the teenage son. The trial begins in November 1921, and it lasts nearly a month. Henri's defence is silence. Pretty much is silence. Time after time, he refuses to answer questions. Or when he does speak, he says it's none of anyone else's business as to why, how he knew a victim or anything like that. It's no one else's business but mine. Henri is convinced that without a body, there can be no crime. That they cannot convict him at all if there is no physical evidence of a body. He is quite wrong. But his arrogance becomes worse and worse and worse as he repeatedly sort of sidesteps and skirts questions. It is revealed through their investigation that Henri had been in communication with 286 individual women over the span of about 10 years or so.
It's a lot. That's a lot.
286 women, 72 of which could not be traced.
Jesus.
Now, many of them may well have just had gone, moved town, could not be traced, died naturally or whatever.
Maybe use pseudonyms themselves.
Absolutely. But police think that potentially there are a lot more than 11 victims out there. When he was asked about his relationship with one of his first victims, the Madame Gillian, he replies, "I am a gallant man and will say nothing. I cannot think of revealing the nature of my relations with Madame Gillian without the lady's permission." So this sort of smugness that he has is exasperating, and the jury find it especially so, and it's certainly not endearing him to anyone who is wanting to make him think that he's not guilty. There is 25 days of testimony and evidence given. It takes the jury 2 hours to decide that Henri is guilty and that the penalty is death. The Bluebeard of Gambais meets Madame Guillotine just before dawn on the 20th of February 1922. It's a real story of a Bluebeard.
The true story of a
True
Bluebeard.
story of a Bluebeard.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, wow. That is a crazy story.
Crazy story.
Wow. That's a lot. He's a lot, wasn't he?
It was. I mean, you've got to think, putting this in some sort of context, this is all happening during the First World War.
Yes. Yeah, well, probably why his name isn't as... Well, I've seen his name because of our research, but why he's not as well known?
I think as well, and why he got away with it for so long.
Yes.
Because obviously, no shortage of widows during the First World War.
Yeah.
So many women who had lost husbands and things in the trenches and such like. So yeah, there was no shortage of potential victims.
And the desperation for it.
And police were thin on the ground because all sort of young men, able men, were sent out to fight in the trenches. So the police was stretched incredibly thinly as it was. So there was no... So not surprising he got away with it for as long as he did, because there just wasn't the resources to try and track him down until Marie, the sister,
good for
goes,
her.
"Fuck's
My
sake,
God.
I am not leaving until you look at this and find out what happened to my sister."
Yeah, good for her.
Good for
Actually
her.
walking the streets and doing the job for them, and uncovers this serial killer. What his motivation? Was it money, or was it just...
It seems to be a lot of it seems to be money. Yes, there seems to be no motivation of killing because he enjoyed particularly killing people. I
think let's put that in there, because clearly that was a factor.
Clearly had no issue with it. But yeah, certainly it was the driving force was money.
Yeah,
Absolutely
to take, but then he seems, of that kind of psyche, like with the first marriage and his background, of him constantly doing different things. And no regard for his family, no regard for his children. And when his family benefit from an inheritance, he's just like, no, that's mine. I'm going to take that. Yeah. So people are cattle. Yeah. People are just expendable.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's got to be some joy in killing in there as well. I'm not saying that to be gratuitous, but he's fucking doing it.
I mean, he's doing it, but I think potentially it's just a means to an end. Sort of thing. It's just I've got all your stuff now. I need to move on to the next one. You're in the way.
But that's the thing, is that a means to an end is I will get the end. I will be able to support myself. That is compulsive behaviour. That is
means to a very small end, and then on to the next one.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, a real life Bluebeard.
And now I understand where it comes from.
There you go. Now we all do.
I've learnt things.
Now we have all learned things about Bluebeard, about the wonderful legend of Bluebeard. Why so many people are called Bluebeard when they killed their husbands or their spouses. They're Bluebeards. It's like, but no, there's a lot more nuance to the fairy tale.
Yes, indeed.
And this is horrible. This one.
Do they have keys?
Do they have keys in this one? Maybe there should be some key-based murder that we can go, Bluebeard. Well, what do you think, people? What do you think of the story of Henri Landru? What do you think of Nick's fairy tale? The Bluebeard story. There's many versions out there. And he is the poster boy for the Bluebeard of such and such.
Very much.
He is the one that's called Bluebeard. Other people have been called Bluebeards. Mrs. Bluebeard, Lady Bluebeard, Man Bluebeard, Bluebeard over there. There you are. Nothing to do with pirates. We can only stress that.
Yeah, it's disappointing me.
For you, maybe.
For me.
For me, fairy tales. Woohoo! What do you think about him and his motivations? What do you think of the legend of Bluebeard as well? Are there different versions that you like?
Yes, what are the differences you've heard?
Do read The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. Absolutely everyone should read that. It is a joy.
Yeah, I've actually got it on the shelf. I've never read it.
Have you not read it?
No, it's on the shelf.
You'll just do it. Just do it. It is all of the fairy tales sexed up, bloodied up. That's where the Company of Wolves comes from. It's outstanding. It's brilliant. And it's short and weird and wonderful. There's film versions of Bluebeard. There's all sorts of different stories of him, like making him sexier or more violent, or just it's not a nice story. Let's put it out there. But yeah, are there more Bluebeard legends that we can cover on the show in future? Tell us what you think. Jump on the comments, share your thoughts, your theories, your feelings, but also mix up when the smoke clears.
I think we're now a treat.
That was lovely.
Yeah,
That was nice.
I like that one.
After a run of so-so, is she kind of not too baddie ones? This was very nice.
That was good.
This was nice, citrusy, nice and crisp.
Absolutely. So the recipe will be out quite soon. So yeah, mix up if you can. Yeah, heartily recommended.
And share pictures of any cocktails you are enjoying over this weekend or whenever you are listening to this episode. Remember to join us on patreon.com and also leave us a 5-star review on Apple iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to this podcast. Leaving a review, leaving a positive comment makes a huge difference. Thanks for listening, guys. We have been the people inside the Poisoner's Cabinet. We will see you next week. And remember, your loved ones are trying to kill you.
Bye.